White County is the closest thing to the Wild Wild West.
Stop Warren. Open the door. You don't know him? Okay, come on out here. Have to see right here. We're going to look around. Man, I'll tell you what, I don't know what you're crying about. I mean, really. I'm scared. What are you scared about?
We don't have to have a search warrant.
Sheriff Shoupe, his deputies, and the White County administration are, simply put, playing God. This is about determining who in the community is undesirable to Sheriff Shoupe, and this is his mastermind to force those people to not procreate.
This one right here, a teacher. They tased her. Tased a teacher.
And that's when Lynch ran to the side of his car over there.
With what? His car?
His car.
I told him not to use them cars. He hit Lynch. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back to Legal Dissent, where we evaluate your constitutional rights before they're taken away. Last week, we watched as former Sheriff Oddie Shoupe gave the order to use deadly force to stop Michael Dial, the driver who was fleeing police for operating a vehicle with a suspended license and maintaining speeds of around 50 miles per hour with a fully loaded trailer. Sheriff Shoupe's comments after the fatal pursuit were caught on a body cam that he did not realize was still recording, where we heard him revel in the death of the individual, and he expressed more concern over the damage done to the police cars than to the humans involved in the incident. As I conducted research for that video, I found over 50 lawsuits against the sheriff and his department while he was in office from 2006 to 2018. Literally story after story of constitutional violations, gross incompetency, and blatant lies to cover up misconduct.
News Channel 5 Investigates has learned the sheriff has been sued at least 50 times since taking office in 2006. 30 of those cases involved civil rights violations or law enforcement procedure. The county's insurance picked up the bulk of those claims, covering $500,000. Taxpayers shelled out an additional $82,000. But several cases are still pending.
I'm just trying to make a living and raise my kids.
Jessica Newnham is a single mom who just moved into this White County house.
All I do is work and stay home.
Last month, she laid down for a nap after work. Unaware, sheriff's deputies were racing toward her house. After surrounding her property, Sheriff Oddie Shoupe banged on her door.
White County Sheriff's Office, open the door, David.
Looking for his nephew, David Pecor, a fugitive who had missed a court date.
And then I heard deep voices. So I unplugged my fan and I asked what was going on. I was like, what? I thought it was my kids.
But when no one answered the door, the sheriff went inside.
And the sheriff opened up my bedroom door with a gun pointed at me, telling me he had a warrant to search the house, but never showed me anything.
Stop Warren. Open the door.
Audio from the dash cam reveals how shocked Newnham was.
Who? For me?
No, I'm looking for David.
David who?
Pecor.
Who's that?
Newnham says she has never met David Pecor and was traumatized by the sheriff's actions.
You don't know him? Okay, come on out here. Have to see right here. We're going to look around.
Deputies searched her house with dogs, but came up empty.
We're serving a warrant on a subject that was my nephew.
Sheriff Shoupe did have an arrest warrant that day, but admits he did not try to get a search warrant.
We don't have to have a search warrant. If we got reasonable probable cause, which we did, and the subject that lived there prior was my nephew, the brother to this subject, and we made entry.
Deputies believed Pecor was inside because they saw a car that resembled his in the driveway, and Pecor's brother had rented the home months earlier.
Nobody was hurt. She was treated with respect. She was released, and I apologized, and that's all I owe her.
This is unequivocally wrong. An arrest warrant grants police the authority to arrest the individual named on the warrant and would also grant them the ability to search for that individual at his primary residence. This does not grant them the power to search anywhere they want to try to find that individual. As the United States Supreme Court discussed in Seagull versus United States back in 1981, holding that while an arrest warrant and a search warrant both serve to subject the probable cause determination of the police to judicial review, the interests protected by the two warrants differ. An arrest warrant is issued by a magistrate upon showing that probable cause exists to believe that the subject of the warrant has committed an offense, and thus the warrant primarily serves to protect an individual from an unreasonable seizure. A search warrant, in contrast, is issued upon a showing of probable cause to believe that the legitimate object of a search is located in a particular place. The court concluded that the right of the people to be secure in their homes from unjustifiable, forcible intrusions by the government is weighty. Thus, a search warrant was required to search for a wanted individual in a third party's home, despite there being an arrest warrant. Jessica Noonan sued the county and the sheriff, where both parties agreed to settle out of court. Sheriff Shoupe has also displayed a disturbing pattern of valuing property over people.
Body cam video shows the tense end to a long chase in May of last year.
Get out of the car! I see your hands!
Teddy Lee Dodd was outside his car, surrounded by White County deputies. As he scrambled from his back seat to his front seat, deputies thought he might be going for a gun. To protect fellow officers, Deputy Richard Lynch drove his SUV into the side of Dodd's car.
You're lucky you hadn't killed somebody out here.
Minutes later, White County Sheriff at the time, Oddie Shoupe, arrived and saw Dodd had a broken leg. He quickly asked deputies if their body cameras were still recording.
You got your camera going?
Yeah.
He makes a quick remark. He knows the camera would record and then watch as he appears to gesture to the deputy to turn his body camera off. But that camera kept recording as deputies explained to the sheriff what happened.
And that's when Lynch rammed the side of his car over there.
With what? His car?
His car.
I told him not to use them cars.
You then see Shoupe walk over and examine the vehicles involved. Minutes later, he returns to the deputies and tells them to completely change their story and say the suspect hit Deputy Lynch.
He hit Lynch. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
The deputies then immediately checked their body cameras again.
Mine's off. When I started, it hit mine. For the majority of it, I hit it.
And if there was any question about what the sheriff was saying, he came over again after talking with the highway patrol.
The TSP is going to fill out an incident report. It's not a wreck report since there's no damage to the car, so very little minor, and since he hit the patrol car.
For us normal people, this is called insurance fraud. But for Sheriff Shoupe, this is just another day at the office. Shoupe broke into homes without warrants, ordered deputies to lie about who initiated contact with vehicles in a pursuit, and ran his department like his own personal hit squad. But the most incredulous action was enforcing the order of Judge Sam Benningfield, who instituted a eugenics program at the White County, Tennessee jail in 2017.
On May 15th, Judge Benningfield issued this standing order. Any inmate who completes a neonatal health class then has an option. Female inmates can get a free Nexplanon birth control implant in their arm. Male inmates can get a free vasectomy. They will then be given 30 days credit toward their jail time.
This program forces inmates to choose between their liberty and their freedom to procreate. This is simply beyond the pale and is blatantly unconstitutional. However, Judge Benningfield says it's just about helping the inmates take personal responsibility.
Are you all ready to proceed?
As a general sessions judge in White County, Sam Benningfield sees all kinds of cases.
I also hear divorce cases. I'm the juvenile judge, I'm the probate judge.
But he gets so many repeat drug offenders who can't afford child support or don't have a job that he's decided something has to change.
Do you hope that this order breaks a cycle? Is that kind of what you're hoping for?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, of course. What I'm hoping to do is help them start thinking about taking responsibility for themselves.
So far, 32 women in the jail have gotten the birth control implant, which lasts for 4 years. 38 men are waiting to get vasectomies.
And so I hope to encourage them to at some point finally take, personal responsibility and to give them a chance, if when they do get out, not to be burdened again with, additional children.
For most people, though, this is just another government program attempting to decide who exists in this society.
Sheriff Shoupe, his deputies, and the White County administration are, simply put, playing God.
Last May, the sheriff and a county judge were sued for telling inmates in the jail they could get 30 days off their sentences if they got surgically sterilized, forever ending their ability to have kids.
This is about determining who in the community is undesirable to Sheriff Shoupe, and this is his mastermind to force those people to not procreate.
Dozens of inmates like Crystal Ward signed up for the procedure to shorten their sentences.
Fortunately, the program was quickly and decisively shut down. Yet another lawsuit that settled out of court, and part of the settlement deal was a federal order ending the practice completely. Judge Benningfield was publicly reprimanded for his role in the program, yet he still sits on the bench as judge in White County, Tennessee. Sheriff Shoupe decided to not run for re-election in 2018, and he moved away from White County. Daniel Horowitz, the attorney for the inmates, stated after the case, "Inmate sterilization is despicable. It is morally indefensible, and it is illegal. Let this historic order serve as a warning. Whether you are a sitting judge, a sheriff who is just following orders, or any other government official, if you violate the Constitution, you will be held accountable." This is just a few stories about one sheriff in one county. It displays how very little accountability there actually is for government authority. Despite all of the illegal and despicable practices being utilized by this department, it was not shut down, it was not prosecuted, and he was not voted out of office. He chose to not run again, and he won 3 elections over a period of 12 years. What do you think? Do the voters deserve who they voted for? Let us know in the comments below. And remember that no matter who you are, you have value and you have rights. Do not be afraid to use them, and we'll see you next time right here on Legal Dissent.